82%.
Does that say 82%? Did I just hear 4% and now 82%? You see how it's fluid? Numbers are fluid, Stephen A. We went from 4% to 82%, and that's with a loss to the Chiefs. Now, I'm not guaranteeing a loss against the Chiefs. We saw how that worked out with the Eagles last week, so I'm just going to stay mum on the concept, but saying the Cowboys still have a clear path to the playoffs with winning one of the next two games against the Chiefs and the Lions. Because, again, I think when you stack the rest of them, the way Schottenheimer has these boys playing, I think they finish it up strong there.
So he went the math.
Well, first of all, I'm very, very pleased with you at the board. You look good. You look good. I mean, I'm very pleased. I mean, I got to give. I like you at the board. Had there been Cece at the board, we wouldn't have seen the damn board. That's the problem. So we got that. We got that part, okay? So we got that out the way, right? Here's where I agree with you conceptually, Jeff Saturday. Where you and I differ, I think they lose to the Chiefs, and then they run the table. They beat the Lions and everybody else. You understand? That's what I think. I think the Dallas Cowboys closed the season on a 5-game winning streak. They beat Kansas City. They lose to Kansas City on Thanksgiving because we all know that Dallas Cowboy fans don't deserve to be happy on Thanksgiving Day. So we know they're going to lose. They're going to lose to the Chiefs. They had their Thanksgiving Day ruined, okay? So once you have that ruined, right, then obviously there's trepidation, there's apprehension about it going forward, and then you run the table. You beat Detroit in Detroit because Detroit looks a little bit vulnerable, okay? And you beat all of those teams that you mentioned, the Vikings, the Chargers, the Commanders, the Giants, because they are better than those guys. We got to take into account Quentin Williams, okay? And this is one of the things that we got to pay attention to, which is why I think Jamar Gibbs is spectacular. The kid is special in Detroit. But CC, Jeff Saturday, what's happened since Quentin Williams arrived? They've only given up 90 yards rushing in 2 games, albeit one was against the Raiders. The last game was against the Eagles, who haven't been running the football effectively all year. We got that part. But still, Quentin Williams with the quarterback pressures, with the sacks, okay, with helping to neutralize the running game. That's not what Kansas City is dependent on. Whether it's Pacheco, it's Hunt, it's Smith, it doesn't matter. That's not who they're dependent on. They're going to throw that damn football. I think they find a way to beat Dallas, and then after that, Dallas, with everything on the line, runs the table and wins the last 5 games of the regular season. So my question to you before CC comes up would be this, Jeff. If you went back up to the board and you put in a loss to the Chiefs, but a win against everybody else, what would that percentage be then?
That's what
would
he
it be 82%?
So he said it's 82%. So he said they could win one of the two between the Lions or the Chiefs. So it's 82% if they would run the table after that.
I'm good with it.
Yeah,
I'm good with it. That's what I got.
But that's not going to happen, Stephen A.
No, you don't know.
Oh, Lord. Can we see the board? Can we see the board? Can we see the board, Stephen A?
Hey, Stephen A, he's wearing socks today.
I got socks on, so Stephen A, watch out. Be nervous about this. Here's the thing. The Kansas City Chiefs game, I'll get back to that. They should be able to take care of their business against the Giants and the Commanders, who are probably going to shut both of their starting quarterbacks down for the season by the time we get to that portion of the schedule. When you look at the Chargers game, that's interesting. I'll go ahead and give the Dallas Cowboys the nod. Just from attrition standpoint, they'll probably be the healthier team going into that matchup. We know the mess the Minnesota Vikings is. So I'll concede those 4 games to you, Stephen A. Smith.
All right.
Here's where it gets interesting.
I'm with you.
The Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs. This is what it comes down to. The Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs. Say you split these games, so you end up having a 10-6-1 record. Pretty good chance at being able to get into the tournament. But if you don't win that Lions game, that could ultimately be what your undoing is because you don't have the tie break. So that's the big difference. These games are not weighted equally. They're not. They have to win the NFC game because right now, if you look at the NFC playoff picture, you got 7 teams that have 7 wins or more. And that's not even counting the NFC South division leader in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So the math ain't mathing when it comes to the Cowboys' path to being able to get to the playoffs. It's not just being able to win 5 more games. It's which games you win. And because of the task and because of how tight the margin for error is, I got the Cowboys outside looking in.
CC, you got me. You got me, CC, because I didn't think about that. I didn't think about the tiebreaker within the NFC. I wasn't thinking about that. I was just thinking about they're going to win 5 of their next 6, and that's going to be good enough. But your point about the tiebreaker, you're absolutely right. You got me there. You got it.
If they do drop both games to the Chiefs and the Lions, they still have an 8% chance to win, to make the postseason if they would win out the rest of the way. Then there is literally no room for error. Okay, coming up. Good job at the board, you guys.
Crushed it.
Very good.
They did very good. And we actually saw the board. We actually saw the board with CC there. I mean, the brother, it was in shape. There wasn't anything, it wasn't like swagger or somebody, the belly wasn't sticking out. None of that. I mean, he was big, but it was
I
thick.
gotta have some room for Turkey Day. I gotta have some room for Thursday, Stephen. I've been training, losing a little bit of weight, so I got more room.
A lot of fasting. A lot of fasting on his last
There we go.
My waistline gonna be real fluid.
Between the Steelers and the Bears, and your tweet went viral.
I know, I heard.
Can you explain
I only
what
tweet like once a week now.
Well, it works.
I make it count.
Yeah, well, did it ever? You tweeted about Aaron Rodgers' finger. Explain what you saw.
Just describing the action. Like I'm the eyes and ears of the fan. I'm there on the field pregame. People wanted to know what was going on with Aaron Rodgers. Was he going to play? At the time, we didn't know. What we knew is he came out and did a lap around the field. Snapped at a couple of cameramen, flipped him the bird, and then went back inside. And I noticed that, because it was his left wrist that was hurt, his left hand was in his pocket the whole time. He was using his right, to communicate with the camera people there, and that left it inconclusive. Yeah. Because if he'd been using his left, then maybe that gives you a little sense of functionality.
Good point.
Right? And so it was up in the air, and then a little while later we found out he wasn't playing.
You know what I thought about when you tweeted that? No one gives the middle finger to other people with their offhand.
Interesting.
It's actually very difficult. I'm not asking for anybody to do this.
I don't think I can.
That's the point.
I don't think I can.
Man, could.
We'll do it during the break. I bet you could, but it's not your natural instinct to do it. Because if you're flipping bird, Rodgers style, you want it to land. You're going for impact, so you're going to go with your dominant hand.
I just tried it. I can't do it.
It's hard. It feels very
awkward.
It,
but it's like
I can do it, but it does feel very weird.
Yeah. Interesting.
So I don't know that you would have been able to tell about the wrist.
You got to have Rodgers on because he's probably more of an expert.
Yeah, he's probably doing the rounds. Yeah,
I would think.
Yeah, that was an amazing part of the tweet. He did it with his right hand. Unclear if he can do it with his left.
Right? Like we haven't seen it.
Right. Questionable.
Questionable. Flip the bird with his left. Great reporting, Gross.
Team trainers want to see if he can use his left hand to hand off or communicate with the media.
Yeah. Graz, what did you make of seeing Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears up close? I know they got the win. They're 8-3 atop of the NFC North. What did you make of his performance, and what do you make of their team?
They're like, I don't know if they're a high wire act or they're just like this team that just doesn't know what's going on. They're just going about their weekly business, and they're doing their thing, and sometimes it looks great, and sometimes Caleb Williams fumbles in the end zone and the other team falls on it for a touchdown, but it doesn't matter because they're going to get turnovers and I don't know. Look, fundamentally, like Ben Johnson has installed something reliable there, which is a pretty physical offense built around the run game. They went out in free agency and they got guards in the center. So you knew what they wanted to do, and they're doing it. So everything works off of that, and Caleb Williams' development kind of works off of that. And, it's not a flawless team by any stretch, but they're playing very well. And on defense, they're taking the ball away so much that I think it covers up for, some of the mistakes and the lapses that they have. And right now, they're flying high.
Dan, let's stay in that division and in that draft class. J.J. McCarthy has entered the concussion protocol after reporting symptoms on that flight home from Green Bay. This also coincides with his worst start of the season. He missed all of last year. He's missed a lot of time this year. The numbers are not great.
They're not great. That's
How concerning should this be for the Vikings?
It's significantly concerning because I think it's worse than they imagined it would be. Even in the worst case scenario, if he's further behind as a result of missing last year than we thought he was, I still think they thought it would be more serviceable than this. I saw a stat yesterday where his expected points added per drop back is minus 0.24. So every time he drops back, he's costing his team a quarter of a point. No matter what happens. And, the second worst is Dylan Gabriel, negative 0.14. It's way out of... So, he is... Yeah.
Wait, can you explain that? What does that mean exactly?
Expected points added, it means what it says, right? Like whatever you do, I guess this is a subjective stat, obviously, to some extent. But whatever you do on that play, how much did it contribute to your team scoring a point? And I think